Nice to meet all of you.
What's going
Hi.
on, Alex?
So this was not what I expected when I saw this film. That I was telling Matson that the last time a movie struck me like this was Children of Men, and I was a new parent at the time, so this really resonated. It's like really powerful. It's got all the tropes of a genre film, but it is really just like a true human drama. So all three of you were fantastic in it. Um, Chloe, what is the how did you find the ability to play a character like such a young mother? Like where did you pull that from? Because it's so heart wrenching to watch.
Honestly, I think I was even struck by where I got to with the character. And it kind of came in and took me by surprise in a lot of ways because I was, wondering how I would do it myself. I haven't come to that part of my life yet. And it was really interesting, almost like the psychosomatic position you can put yourself into when you are a woman having a baby belly on yourself every single day, doing scenes where you really believe that there's a child within you, and then working with Matson, where in a lot of ways he was the physical depiction of the child that I'm growing, and that connection that we had personally. And so all those things were intense, really intense. And I think it flowed in a way where I didn't have to think, and it just kind of became. And by the time that we, not to give a lot away, but by the time we have the child, the scene where I hold the baby for the first time was, I mean, I was just like sobbing,
Mhm.
and we did it in like a take or two. And it was one of the most beautiful sequences I've ever been a part of. And it was just like I get chills thinking about it now. It was really wonderful.
And Algie, for you, I mean, as a dad, I really connected with what you're trying to do and what your character is trying to provide for and protect. Where did you pull that from?
I think I honestly pulled that from we're just seeing the family dynamic that I grew up in and seeing how my dad is so sacrificial and the things that he's given up for our family. I was kind of able to pull on that, kind of what I grew up around, but also more so than that, I think just like Chloe said, once I understood the dynamic of the story being from our director Matson and how personal it was to him, it wasn't hard to tap into that emotion of, okay, I understand how real and how visceral this is. And I think just as a human being, just like if I were to have a kid, I don't have any kids right now, but if I were, I'm pretty sure that would snap inside of me to that sacrificial part, or that, the manhood, just to step up and make those sacrifices and look at the bigger picture. So I think the interpersonality of the story, and then also just what I grew up around in my family dynamic.
And Raul, this is your second post-apocalyptic film and very different than the other one. And you, not to give anything away, but your character has very different sides here. How did you approach playing this character knowing those different elements were going to be at play?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, the material felt more. I come from theater, and I came up in theater as an actor, and when I read the scenes they play, it felt like a play. Like the dialogue was beautiful. They ran like scenes, like scenes in the play. So there was so much material to dive into. There was like really great material to dive into, and the character had so many layers, and such an interesting backstory that and Matson just let me play and be creative. So yeah, I mean, his kind of like earnest desire to see them survive is what drives him, and yeah, there's a lot to play there.
And Chloe, for you, this is such, everybody's going to say like, oh, this is such a mature role, but I don't think that playing a character like this could have been done by somebody who was 10, 20 years older, because that really ties into being young. Did you have any reservations about taking on a character like this?
Mm-mm. I think what's so important about these characters is that they are young for what they're going through, and that I think adds to the stakes in a lot of ways. They're a little unequipped, but you have to rise to the occasion, especially when you're facing a war in a lot of ways. And I think it if anything, made us rise to the occasion too as young actors. to put ourselves in those positions. The fact that, you know, neither Alger or I do have kids. And we really had to figure out what those feelings would feel like and sort through them. And I think it added a sensibility to it, which was incredibly natural for us. And the process of us, when we got to Boston and connected, and like the conversations that he and I had, it flowed in a way that I don't think we could have achieved that, you know, if we had been older and had, you know, I think lived more life in those ways. Yeah, it wouldn't have been the same freshness and rawness, vulnerability.
And I think that's definitely spot on. There is the rawness, and I hope everybody has their jaw drop as much as mine did in that final act. So appreciate your time. It's a phenomenal film. I hope everybody checks it out.
Thank you,
Alex. I love that picture back there too, man.
Oh, thank you.
What's up, squirrel? You sleep all right?
No,
We gotta get going, seriously.
she won't stop kicking.
Come on, baby. Let's go.
Go! Go, 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 go!
In a perfect world, none of this ever would have happened. Androids were a part of our everyday life.
Hot chocolate, sir.
And then one night, everything changed. We've got to get to Boston before I give birth. It's the only safe place.
How long would that take?
2 weeks. If you can find a safe way for us to go, I'll go.
I'm fighting a war against an enemy that literally never sleeps.
Killing machines. They won't stop until we're all dead.
We gotta get through no man's land without being noticed. No checkpoints. No humans. A lot of androids. We'd have to be quiet.
Silent. I'd have to be silent.
We can't outrun them.
This is the only shot we've got.
An android rebellion leads to the extinction of human life.
I would kill for you. I would die for you. And I would do the same for our baby.
My son, I'm going to give you the only thing that I have left.